Certainly no secret that Alabama is prone to severe weather. In fact, just this past week we dealt with some damage caused by severe weather and tornadoes. Many of you will remember the most violent weather to hit our state in recent times, the April 27th, 2011 tornado outbreak that killed 250 people. But after 2011, there were fewer tornadoes. Until now. New at 10, WSFA 12 News First Alert Chief Meteorologist Josh Johnson explains why we need to be ready in a story you'll see only on 12.
The University of Alabama is known for many things: education, football, and on April 27, 2011, tornadoes. Students who lived through that terrible day will never forget it. But there's a new crop of Alabama students. Do they remember?
It was a tornado that ran through Tuscaloosa.
I mean, I know it was the tornado, but I wasn't here.
Are you familiar with what happened here on April 27th, 2011?
No.
That's not that hard to believe. The storms hit Alabama nearly 5 years ago, and students come to Tuscaloosa from all over the country. Dr. Laura Myers is executive director at the Center for Advanced Public Safety at UA. Her life's work is spent researching to see if we are prepared for disasters like tornadoes.
The student population that was here when that happened in 2011, they're mostly gone now.
But has the rest of the state forgotten? Dr. Myers says it depends.
One category of people remember it very well. They were directly associated with it. They remember what happened to them. They'll never forget. And they're very, very prepared, and they're very ready.
Since 2011, each year has seen below normal tornado activity. Fewer tornadoes are, of course, a blessing. But quiet times carry new concerns for all Alabamians.
Then about 2/3 of the population are either not thinking about it, not worrying about it, or they think they can handle it when it comes. And that's where the complacency comes in.
Jim Stevkovich is the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service in Birmingham. Their research indicates Alabama sees 42 tornadoes a year on average. 2015 was a down year with only 32 tornadoes in the state, many of which spared our viewing area.
Very little that occurred between I-20 and I-65, 85.
Research suggests many people have about a 1 to 2 year memory before thoughts of tornadoes start to fade away. That can be dangerous.
No, you really want to remind them about what could be coming. You want to remind them of what has happened in the past.
And it will happen again. Right now, we're in the middle of a strong El Nino.
All of this weather blamed on El Nino. The warm water has whipped up a steady stream of storms moving west to east.
We know we're going to have typically more systems coming from west to east, from California across the southern United States. And of course, with more systems, there's more of a chance of one of those, 1 or 2 or even more, being severe weather.
And there is data to support an increased threat as El Nino starts to wind down. Over the last 50 years, there have been 3 strong El Nino episodes. All 3 featured above normal tornado activity in Alabama.
There has been some correlation, is that when we're transitioning from an El Nino to a neutral phase, that we can have a little bit more severe weather activity.
And 2016 is off to a fast start, as we saw earlier this week when 7 tornadoes hit the southern half of Alabama. Twisters touched down in Montgomery, Pike, Covington, Lee, Russell, Conecuh, and Escambia counties. Our long stretch of below normal tornado seasons may be ending, and soon. So yes, El Nino could possibly lead to more tornadoes, but it's important to be prepared regardless.
We don't get too concerned about the numbers. We know we're going to have severe weather here in Alabama this spring.
So what can you do to be ready? Have a family plan where everyone in the household knows where you'll go in your home if a tornado warning is issued. That includes helmets for everyone. Keep batteries, canned food, bottled water, and extra medication on hand as well. Have a weather radio to wake you up, and download and use the WSFA 12 weather app. It has live radar and will update you to watches and warnings where you live. Josh Johnson, WSFA 12 News.
You know, we heard from folks who were affected by the severe weather of last week who said, you know, they heeded the warning. They either had a weather radio, they were watching television, they heeded the warning, they got out, and a couple of times in the nick of time.
Yeah, and that's why we always say make sure to have a way to stay connected, to get those weather updates before the storm's right on top of you. And that's why we're stressing so much for people to read up on the forecast for this Tuesday, because just like in the story you just heard, folks, a lot more storms coming out of the west, and this is where the storm is coming out of Texas, and it's moving east and will be here Tuesday night, and it has the potential to bring in isolated tornadoes, hail, damaging winds, and heavy rainfall that could lead to flash flooding. So we'll talk all about it next, because it looks like we're starting off this work week on the stormy side.